And the next item for discussion is item A-15.
Chair Hart and members of the board, administrative item number 15 is from the Clerk, Recorder, Assessor. It is to consider recommendations regarding the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities CARES Act contract.
Is there a Supervisor Levanino? Yes.
Yes, I pulled this item just because of, I think it's a national story of people starting to worry about whether a mail-in election is secure. I thought it was a good opportunity for Mr. Holland. I had a conversation with him yesterday that I'm not sure. I think a lot of it is the fact that maybe we're not getting enough information out to the public to let them know how secure our election is. But I think it's a good opportunity to let Mr. Holland kind of explain how our process is going to work this year.
Thank you, Supervisor Levanino. Is Mr. Holland on the line?
Yes, Supervisor Lavagnino, through the chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, great. Well, thanks for the opportunity. As you all may very well know, the governor signed an executive order in June making California an all vote by mail election for November 3rd. And this was, of course, with COVID in mind. In March, we had 86 polling places, and most of those polling places were not conducive to providing safe voting. So the governor wants the state to go all vote by mail, and so we're currently doing that. In Santa Barbara County, we've been 75% to 80% vote by mail for a number of years now. So for us to increase from 180,000 vote by mail to 230,000 is not a real heavy lift for us. So we're confident we can do that and handle that securely. The postal workers and the post office, they are really our partners in this, and they do a tremendous job. So I really want to give a shout out to them. They're really the frontline workers in an all vote by mail election. I know there was some concern that there was some mailboxes or a drive-through mailbox removed on Patterson Avenue in Goleta. And I'm here to let you know that mailbox has now been replaced with 2 mailboxes. It was removed apparently because it was damaged. And so, when we heard about that, we have the post office on speed dial. So we called them up and they told us it was damaged and that they were working to replace that just at their earliest convenience. So with this new election model, going all vote by mail, there's a number of opportunities for people to return their vote by mail ballot. The number one, of course, is have your postal workers return it. Now, for a number of years, the post office has always recommended that you mail your vote by mail ballot in 7 days before the election. And so I think that message is still consistent. So what you want to do is you want to vote early. Give the post office a chance to get those mail ballots back. But additionally, things that we're doing to make it easier for you to return your vote by mail ballot, we have 3 offices that are open 29 days before the election, where you can walk in, you can get a replacement ballot, you can drop off your vote by mail ballot at any one of our 3 offices, Lompoc, Santa Maria, or Santa Barbara. In addition to that, we have purchased 32 actually vote by mail drop boxes, and those are going to be spread out across the county for folks to directly deliver their vote by mail ballot by dropping it off in one of these county ballot drop boxes. And so that will deliver your vote by mail ballot directly to our county elections office, and those will be open 29 days before the election. So we're going to try and get all our vote by mail ballots into the mail system sometime the week before October 5th, which is the 29th day before the election. So people can start voting on that 29th day before the election, which is October 5th. One of the other things that we're doing with this that was part of the governor's executive order was because we couldn't handle because our 86 polling places didn't provide enough spacing to provide safe voting, they asked for counties to go to what they call an in-person voting location mechanism. And so what we are doing is we're identifying 37 voting locations, or 36 voting locations for the 4 days leading up to and including election day. So Saturday, October 31st, Sunday and Monday, these 36 in-person voting locations will be open for 8 hours. And then on Tuesday, they will be open normal hours, 7 to 8. So we're providing lots of opportunities for people to return their vote by mail ballots and get them in. And so one of the kind of our motto is vote safe and vote early. Please get those ballots in as early as you can. And discussing this with Supervisor Lavagnino, he asked, so what's one of the biggest challenges to voting by mail? And really one of the biggest challenges is when people do not sign their return envelope, or they sign it sloppily and then it doesn't match the signature we have on file. And then we have to outreach those voters and get them to correct that, which delays things. So again, vote safe, vote early, and please sign your ballot, your return envelope responsibly.
Thank you, Mr. Holland. I understand that this new approach is going to require additional poll workers and that you are actively recruiting folks for that role. And do you have a phone number that the public could contact or an email address that you could direct them to take advantage of this opportunity for employment?
Yeah, 1-800-SBC-VOTE or sbcvote.com.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
And yes, we're going to need 15 to 20 workers at each one of these in-person voting locations. So if you do the math, that's 500 to 600 poll workers we need to work for 4 days. So it's going to be quite the challenge. It's quite different than anything we've done in the past.
Thank you for that. Supervisor Williams?
Well, I definitely always urge people to mail in early, but I just, in California law, I'm curious, what happens to those ballots that have been postmarked by Election Day, but come in a day or two afterwards, but before certification of the election?
Very good question, Supervisor Williams, through the chair. If they are postmarked by Election Day, we have up to 17 days after election to receive that. And if it is postmarked on Election Day, that ballot will be counted.
And is that true in California only and not in other states? So is this a different issue elsewhere?
I believe that's the 17 days is actually brand new. It used to be postmarked +3, but they had a just brand new law that allowed 17 days. Other states do this, but I'm not sure what their limit is in terms of how late they can be delivered after election.
Well, again, I think we need to urge people to do it early, but, and I know it's a staffing challenge for you to have so many vote by mail ballots, and obviously even more of a staffing challenge when they come in late. But we really appreciate your work to obviously protect the sanctity of our democracy.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And the other part about voting early is people criticize voting by mail because if you turn in your ballots late, then we have to process those after election. If you get them to us days before the election, we can process those, and then they will go into the account on election night. So that's one of the benefits of getting your ballot in early.
Are there any
Mr.
other-
Chair, I have a question.
Yes, Supervisor Lavanino.
Thank you. So, Mr. Holland, so there's been, I think in the last election might have been the first one when, I might be wrong, but the idea of ballot harvesting, I know people have really had some heartburn with. There was a possibility that the law might be changed. And for those that don't know what that is, that's where an individual goes and collects other people's ballots. Has the law stayed the same? What are the rules, and what should people look out for?
Yeah, the law is still the same, so you are allowed to do that. We really don't see much of any of that. What we typically find is that for a given household, if you, let's say, have 4 voters there, that one person may come in and drop off all 4 ballots. And previously, the law against harvesting was really kind of meaningless because anybody could have just taken, creditable voted ballots and just put them in a blue mailbox. And again, we're really just not seeing anything beyond really households just delivering ballots from that household.
But they all do have to be signed no matter what. That has to have the signature on each one.
Absolutely. And it's so easy to do. Just sign that envelope and we'll count that ballot.
All right, any other questions
I
for
have a
Mr.?
question.
Yes, Supervisor Adam.
Yeah, Mr. Holland, when's the last time we cleaned out the voter rolls?
Supervisor Adam, through the chair, we are in constant list maintenance of the voter rolls. So you might have noticed that you just got a card in the mail. We sent that card out to everybody all registered voters in the county. And if it comes back as undeliverable, we move them to the inactive roll. So we are in constant state of list maintenance of our voter registration rolls daily.
Have you ever audited a set of like a precinct or something and gone out and actually confirmed each person is there?
You mean went out and knocked on their door? We've never done anything like that.
Okay. Maybe that might be a good idea.
Okay, I'll take that into consideration.
All right, if there are there any more questions for Mr. Holland? I don't see any. Thank you again for being available and for answering these questions and reassuring our residents that the election is being carefully planned for and that all contingencies are being considered and you are ready to take their ballots as early as possible, as soon as they're available. And that way folks can be assured that their ballot will be counted prior to Election Day and ready for publication on Election Day itself. So thank you very much for
Thank you.
being with us, Mr. Holland.